Hey, hey, who is that? Who is that? Huh? Who is that? I don't know. Somebody else is here today, I suppose. Hey, everybody. This is Cosmic, and this is Astronomy Daily Live. This is a live stream, happens every single day at 2 hours UTC. You're going to have to figure out when that is for your position on the planet. Um, the other way that you can know without having to, to sort of cheat a little bit is to subscribe and get the notification going. And I think you get a email or something. Uh, yeah, so go ahead and do that, and then you'll know exactly when I come on, and you won't even have to work it out. Although working out, I think, is a nice exercise. Sort of a nice exercise. So I'm going to get the regular things going here. There's this one, and it's hydrogen hydroxide tonight. Hydrogen hydroxide. Cheers. Okay, just starting up. I pop out the chat over on my Linux machine, but it takes it a little while. Got to pause it. Then it comes up. I've got a pretty slow connection, so it's yeah. I'm kind of upset. I can't use OBS because hey Uncle Bill, hey OMC Triple X, yeah, OMC Triple X is pretty fast, um, but um, Uncle Bill, I think you've probably got him in terms of multitasking, though. So he might be faster, but you can do a lot more. So I think I would like to be in your shoes and just be maybe a little slower. So yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I'm popping out the chat here. Hope everybody's doing okay today. I After the live stream last night, I checked my email again, and I got another offer to buy another one of my pieces of artwork that I submitted over to the Art of Planetary Science exhibit at the University of Arizona at the Lunar and Planetary Laboratory, and one of my pieces got an honorable mention, which yeah, that's pretty extraordinary. I think there are like 12 awards handed out, and I and there were like 208 entries. So okay, every good scientist has a calculator on their desk, at hand, within arm's reach, at all times. All times. 12 divided by, I think there was 208. Oh, 208. That's uh let's see, let's do it like this. Plus one. So that's a score of, if you want to sort of grade it, okay, that's a 94.2. I was in the top 12. So I got a 94.2 or higher. So uh yeah, I get an A. That's good enough. I'm very happy with that and honored with that. That was the first piece um, the one that got the honorable mention was the first piece that I ever made. It was just sort of a practice piece that I went through the whole process of rendering, making it into a 8,000 by 8,000 300 dot per inch um, TIFF file that I uploaded to the printer and had them turn into a 24-inch by 24-inch uh, print. Um, and yeah, it looked pretty good. And apparently the judges over at the show thought so too. So that's very cool. Very, very cool. But it was the first piece that I ever did. So, whew, man, that goes back a ways. Back a ways, yeah. Done a lot since then. So, yeah, all right. Well, this is Astronomy Daily Live, coming at you every single day. This is just a very casual, yet I hope, pretty high quality, um, skeptical, open minded, fun, um, educational conversation about astronomy. You know, we go at it for about an hour or so. Don't want to disrespect anybody's time, so a good hour um, every single day. That seems to work. I'm more than happy to go over. I can talk astronomy all day and all night. So I have I have I have no uh, I have no end, absolutely no end. So merely talking astronomy for an hour, no problem, no problem. My perspective, it goes by in about it feels like about 5 minutes or so. So yeah, uh, and that to me that's sort of just a very strong indication that I'm having fun, and that's what it's all about. It's trying to find your fun stuff. Try to do that as much as you possibly can. So here I am doing it. Yeah. So yeah, skeptical, open-minded. We talk science here. Astronomy is sort of the science of everything, which is why I like it, because I like everything. And so it's like, okay, well, what you know sort of philosophy should I uh, glom onto that sort of tries to figure out everything, and that is astronomy. Cheers. Hmm. I also have coffee. Coffee that's still hot. So cheers. Thank you. Hmm. I make my coffee sort of an old-fashioned way, I guess. Sort of a really, really crude, lazy way. I just have a percolator, and I fill it with water, put it on the stove, and it boils, and then it perks for a certain amount of time, and then it's done. So yeah, it's pretty simple, and yeah, it's about as much trouble as a coffee maker. So maybe maybe not that big of a deal. Uh, I don't have a filter um, or anything, just sort of the screen thing that comes with it. And so, it's pretty grainy on the bottom. You don't want to drink the whole thing, but that's okay because I like, yeah, I mean, I've grown to like the taste of coffee quite a bit. So sometimes I probably overdo it, but mm, it comes and goes. Sometimes I won't drink it for months and months and months, and sometimes I'll drink one pot a day. So it varies. I monitor it. I don't worry about that too much. Yeah. So what is on your mind tonight? Anything in particular? I did a another word analysis of last night's show, and um, is this it? Let's see if this is it. No, I did word analyses of other astronomy related shows, and there's some interesting differences. So I'm not going to get into this, but um, I'm just YouTube produces a transcript of all of these things. So I just grab that transcript and I run it through a Perl program that I wrote that just counts the number of times words are used. So like the word um, you or I or am or the, those words tend to uh, uh, at least according to the translation software, be used a lot. Um, so, I look up words uh, like astronomy and space and telescope and and get a word count. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting data. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. But these are the seeds. These are the seeds of interesting research. But you really don't know what they're going to sprout and grow into. You just have to. I found that you just sort of have to try to be aware of those kinds of things and go with them as much as you can because curiosity. Just yeah, going to follow things that seem um, interesting, even though I may not really understand why I think they're interesting. But yeah, this word count thing looks kind of interesting for reasons that I can't quite grasp yet. Um, and there's some things that I want to do that I haven't quite been able to define yet. So some programming things. Take the basic code that I have now and modify it in ways to be able to look at the data in different ways. So trying to figure that out. That's a Perl. Perl can do it. Um, word analysis of a show where you discuss word analysis is entering. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's just sort of an interesting thing, and I promise not to bring it up all the time, but yeah, it's just sort of an interesting little thing. It's really nerdy, and that's that's my kind of stuff. So I'm glad that you all agree. And by the way, hello to everyone of you in the future who are watching this. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that if you please. And you can set your notifications to know when I go live. But I do go live every single day at 2 hours UTC. We talk astronomy, anything astronomy. If you're a newbie, if you're an amateur, if you're like an advanced amateur, if you're a pro, you are welcome into the circle. And yeah, I think things can only get better in terms of uh, interaction and presentation. I really appreciate Astro B's input and suggestions in terms of you know uh, pointing out some of his, I guess, thoughts on how even early on I can make some pretty simple changes to just make the quality even a little better. So yeah, I'm, as I said, one of the things of this show is open-mindedness. Don't throw something out just because it is contrary to what you think, um, or what you think um, and yeah, as I said, I think in my response, it's ultimately I'm just going to be me, and that is certainly subject to change based on experiences and different pieces of information. So yeah, I I'm definitely uh, eager to be a active participant in the evolution of this show. Um, it's I'm completely open to where it goes. The only real parameter that I have is that I want it to be astronomy, and all that astronomy entails. Astronomy is a very, very, very large subject. It's yeah. I mean it it requires a certain level of speciality, but um, uh, there are a few who uh, I think are lucky enough to have had a pretty good sample of a number of different aspects of astronomy, and I'm I think I am one of those. Definitely uh, haven't gotten a full, complete taste of anything in particular, but I've had some pretty good tastes of quite a few things. So yeah, um, any level of participation is extremely welcome here, and yeah, it being a daily show can sort of be kind of relaxed and not worry too much about too much of a structure or having to cram in information, because if I don't say it now, it's going to have to wait a week or a month. No, it just has to wait until tomorrow. And so far, in my experience, tomorrow has arrived. Cheers. Word analysis of a show where you discuss word analysis. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah, I should. I didn't look for those words, and it's very very clear, um, Uncle Bill, that that the translation does make errors because some of the words that apparently were said once, say, or twice, especially the ones that only show up once. I'm I'm serious. I don't think that uh, I would say any of those. Let me just. I'm not going to belabor this. Not going to belabor this much. Um, it's just kind of fun. Um, Alibi. I don't think yesterday I said the word alibi. Okay. Um, Area, aspect, Astra. I don't remember ever saying Astra. Aware. These are all the ones. Well, not all of them. I'm not going to read them all. There's 1,437 unique words in yesterday's show. Yeah, it's really nerdy. It's really, really nerdy. Anyway, I'm not going to belabor that because that is getting away from astronomy for sure. But it's just fun. It's fun. All right. Well, before I went live here, I was watching the free Cosmos episode on Twitch. It I get the notification, so I get an email, and I saw the email, and it's like, oh, okay, sure, it'll get me in the mood for the live stream, which it certainly did. Um, this was I think I caught the last half of it or so. Um, it was the episode called Blues for a Red Planet. So it was all about Mars. And you know, the part that I saw, the last sort of half of the episode, is a discussion of of you know s- sort of you know what is it that makes life? Is it just like just a pile of chemicals mixed together in a particular way? Um, and then how do you detect life? And so yeah, he's talking about Mars, and you're detecting life elsewhere. And so that sort of uh, prompted me, if you all would like, I can sort of start talking about at least my thoughts, and I can get some of yours about the possibility of the existence of life elsewhere. So whenever I'm at a star party, I get asked the question at least once, if not multiple times, like, do I think that there is life elsewhere? And up until recently, my answer has always been, well, the way that I the way that I see it is that there's a there's a lot of stuff. There's a we It seems as though there's a lot of stuff, and it's sort of maybe hard to know how much stuff, but there seems to be a lot of it. So, mm, if stuff can organize itself once, then it can probably do that again. And since there's so much stuff, my guess is that there's probably a lot of life. Probably. Just because there's so much stuff. And it really doesn't have to, at least as far as I am/was concerned. Um, uh, if it can happen once, that's good enough to convince me it can happen as many times. If it never happens, um, then, well, then you're stuck. But if it happens once, I think that's enough to say, yeah, pretty likely, pretty likely. So that's fundamentally what that is what is referred to as the Drake equation. The Drake equation is just a probability. So it's it's just a bunch of different probabilities that are all multiplied together, um, and then multiplied by, uh, yeah, well, so the Drake equation itself, I'm looking at it here on Wikipedia on my Linux machine. It's the so there are seven factors, which in the end result in a number of civilizations, of intelligent civilizations. So all these terms are multiplied together. So it's the average rate of star formations multiplied by the fraction of formed stars that have planets, multiplied for stars that have planets, the average number of planets that can potentially support life, multiplied by the fraction of those planets that actually develop life, multiplied by the fraction of planets bearing life on which intelligent civilized life has developed, multiplied by the fraction of these civilizations that have developed communications, i.e., technologies that release detectable signs into space, and finally multiplied by the length of time over which such civilizations release detectable signals. So you take those terms and you multiply them together. So each of those terms you have to think about, right? You either have to get a measurement, like you can measure the average rate of star formation in a galaxy, say in hours. You can get a pretty good measurement of that. Um, the fraction of formed stars that have planets, well, that's changing. That's changing all the time. At least if you're on the side of um, believing that what the transit data is showing are planets and not something maybe intrinsic to the stars. Don't know. Don't know. It's probably planets. Probably planets. But yeah, there's other possibilities that maybe need to be examined. I need to read the procedures that the Kepler folks do to confirm a detection. It's in a series of papers that I'm trying to get access to, but haven't quite yet. But anyway, that's been my answer for quite a while. Is sort of basically the Drake equation. It comes down to probability uh, of a number of different things. Cheers. But then, you know, I I realized that, well, even in a universe that can produce an intelligent civilization, um, there's there's always a first. There's always a first one. There's a point where there aren't any, and then there's a point where there are, and there's always a first one. So I don't really have any problem with the idea that maybe our civilization is the first one. It's possible. It's possible. The the other concept that sort of comes up when you talk about the possibility of life elsewhere is the so-called Fermi paradox. And the Fermi paradox uh, says this, and this is also from Wikipedia. Okay, there are billions of stars in the galaxy that are similar to our sun, and many of these stars are billions of years older than our sun. So with high probability, some of these stars are going to have Earth-like planets. And if the Earth is typical, some may have developed intelligent life. Some of these civilizations may have developed interstellar travel, uh, and that's a step that we are investigating now. And finally, even at the slope pace of currently envisioned interstellar travel, the Milky Way galaxy could be completely traversed in a few million years. So the question is, if if they're so advanced, if they're so advanced, where are they? If they can get around conveniently, why haven't we, as far as we're aware, why haven't we had any contact at all? So that's an argument saying, well, maybe using the Fermi paradox as a basis for a discussion. I don't know where I was going with that now. Hate that. Fermi paradox. Well, we're talking about the possibilities of life. That's what it is. Okay. So the Fermi paradox sort of implies that, okay, the reason why we haven't seen any of these guys is because there's some kind of a filter that civilizations go through. And either we have already gone through a filter, or we have yet to meet the filter. And when you meet the filter, apparently, it is very difficult to get through. Difficult. So that's sort of the Fermi uh, paradox in a nutshell. So I'm going to go back to the chat here and see if there are any additional thinkings on that. Still not getting a count of viewers. Doesn't look like anybody is in the chat. I'm going to go over to my live. Yeah. Do it that way. Very good, very good. So I'm sort of leaning towards Fermi's paradox now. I guess, getting a little discouraged that that something. I mean, there's got to be a pretty good reason why we haven't had any extremely obvious encounters or contacts. Yeah. I guess the other argument, right, is that there's some kind of a non interference rule that says, okay, if you're aware of this kind of intelligence, just leave it alone. Don't know. That's hmm. That that could be. It could be. Don't know. Thank you, Uncle Bill. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. No, I think that, this channel is going to take some time to develop, and um, I'm the only thing that it's really going to take is a little bit of patience and a little bit of determination. But yeah, I've got this really interesting feeling about it. That yeah, it's really strong. I'm feeling very strongly compelled um, to do this, to the point that it's absolutely no trouble at all. It's easy, it's fun, and I don't feel discouraged really in any way that there are just a few viewers. I don't have a problem with that. I can't look at things on a daily basis because that's my cadence. I have to look at it longer term, and longer term, it's doing really it's doing pretty good. So yeah, if you look at it on a weekly basis, which is all I can do, I haven't even been doing this a month. I think today is the beginning of my second or third week. Let me pull up a calendar here. I started on the 14th. I started on the 14th. Did I start on the 14th? I guess I started on the 14th. I thought I started maybe on a Saturday. I did. It was a Saturday night. It was the 14th UTC. See, that time thing grabs me too. Okay, so I started on the 13th at my location. So so I've been doing it 1, 2, 3 weeks. This is the start of the fourth week. Start of the fourth week of this. Awesome. Yeah, feels good. Feels good. No problems at all. Enjoying it. Really enjoying it. So, and talking about the possibility of life out there. I get that uh, question a lot. Being an astronomer, that's what a lot of people sort of want to know, is what I think of that. And yeah, I think as I said, my opinion stayed the same for quite a while, but it's starting to change a little bit. And yeah, we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that goes. Cool. I can probably, yeah, sort of watch things over here. So, Uncle Bill, anything on your mind? Anything astronomical going on that you caught? I'm getting kind of excited about Falcon Heavy. Getting a little excited about that. I uh, I That static fire test was really short. It was really short, and I don't know. They're man. Don't you have to test those things a little more? I mean, they're just they're three Falcon 9s, so they Falcon 9s have shown to be very reliable, right? Very reliable. There's just three of them. So a really short test like that, I think they fired for like I don't know. I heard a bunch of numbers: 4 seconds, 11 seconds. I don't know, but that seems to be a really short amount of time. But it's like, okay, if you know that it works, as long as it turns on, then if you know that it works and you just want to make sure that it turns on, then yeah, you don't really need to, you know, turn it on and keep it on. You just need to fire it up for a little bit. You know, I'm thinking of, you know, like starting up a computer, you know, uh, same kind of analogy, you know. You fire it up, let it go for 5 seconds, 6 seconds, just to see that it's firing up. Um, uh, you know the rest of it works. So maybe that's it. You know, maybe that's all they have to do. But so I'm getting kind of excited about that. Kind of nerve wracking. It's you know, I don't know what it is, but I've got an intuition that they are going to launch, they are going to deploy, they're going to land, and that's it. That, I mean, it's going to be besides that. Okay, besides those three things, okay, they're going to launch, they're going to deploy, and they're going to land. Okay, besides those three, you know, little things, um, I think it's going to be completely uneventful. And uh, well, you know, Bucky Fuller, he said, there, you can only learn more, you can never learn less. So if they have a successful uh, launch and deploy and landing, if it launches, gets into orbit, gets into the right orbit, it deploys its cargo, which it would be, it would behoove them to have a camera inside the fairing, right? Live, live deployment of whatever it is. Yeah, you know, and Uncle Bill, as I just explained, I can't I can't be disappointed because I'm trying to think about why it would be so short. And it's like, well, you know, they work already. You don't know, you know, if the whole system works. But 12 seconds of data, if you're collecting, you know, even at a kilohertz, right, which I'm sure they are collecting much faster than that. But that's a lot of data. That's a lot of good data. You can measure stresses. You can measure all kinds of things. You know, 12 seconds of full thrust. You can get all the structural data you need. That's tons. That is tons and tons. And then as soon as the rockets go off, you can listen to it ring, right? And you collect all of that data too, because there's lots of information in in that decay. So yeah, but so yeah, you know, they're Falcon 9s, three of them, and they know that Falcon 9s work, so they don't need a big long test, you know, full launch time test. They just need to make sure they turn on. Because you definitely want, you know, you want 27 engines burning. Yeah, yeah. If you don't have 27 engines burning, then um, as long as it's not too many less than that, you're all right. But yeah, you don't want any engine failing, especially in a cataclysmic way, because then it's going to take out other engines, and yeah, then then they're going to learn a lot. So, hello there. I've got a friend on my lap here. You're not going to be able to see him. Oh, there's an ear. There's a couple of ears. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited, pretty nervous about Falcon Heavy, but as I said, my intuition says that it's going to launch, it's going to deploy, and it's going to land, and that's it. That's all that's going to happen. But you never know. You never know. You know, something that's never been done before. Uh, you don't know what's going to happen. so so watch the spectacle. I mean, it's they could do serious damage to the pad. Um, I don't know. It's really, I mean, it's always a risk, right? It's always a risk, but I would, I don't know. I guess I'm still a little nervous about the sort of maybe the lack of testing, but maybe they got all they needed, you know? Maybe they did. What do you think? Well, yeah, I'm saying maybe not attached to the fairing itself, but attached inside somewhere. They have those, the cameras, that look at the payloads. So a fixed camera on the rocket body. So that's sort of um, um, what I'm saying there. Just do what they have been doing. Maybe get the Earth in the background or something. So big. It's just a PR thing. So whatever. It's a good one. I don't see any harm there. And I mean, he's not he's not throwing it in orbit around the Earth. So whatever. Cheers. Yeah, I think Musk was saying right that at the fairings are like $6 million just just being completely destroyed. Right. Just take just a big pile. 6 million $1 bills. Right. And just burn them. Just powder them. That's what you're doing every single time with those things. And yeah, why not? Recover those two. Put some little wings on them, or some kind of attitude control system, and just glide them back in. And maybe they'll fall a little hard, but they're probably pretty tough. They're the leading edge of the rocket, so they are tough as shit. So yeah, recovery mechanism inside the frame. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that's cool. I uh, I think everybody that is trying to work on getting us off of this planet to spread out a little bit is doing us a favor. I guess the only thing that I sort of worry about is sort of the John Galt syndrome. The Yeah, just the it seems to always be sort of the yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It probably just has to be that way. That those kind of people just uh, make things happen. So yeah, a little bit of luck, a little bit of being at the right place at the right time and being prepared, being totally prepared. So when that luck comes, you're able to grab it and run. That's a great, great, great thing. So, yeah. So what else is going on? I'm thinking about live streaming another star party. But I think that I probably should get a focal reducer before I really do anything like that. Field of view is just too narrow, really, really too narrow to make it interesting. So, yeah, I think I need to get a focal reducer first. So, yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait on that. But I think that that would be fun. And for some reason, it seems to be a challenge. It seems to be a challenge. I've sort of watched past live stream star parties, and they always uh, ended up not working. So I've got to understand why, because it doesn't seem like a big deal to me. So I don't know. Cheers, cheers. Just a circle of friends sitting around talking astronomy for an hourish, something like that. Pretty much talk about anything astronomical. And if you don't, I will. Hey, I wanted to point out another resource that I think is absolutely fabulous. I think it's fabulous that they're doing this. Um, as I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, I was a student, astronomy physics student at the University of Arizona in Tucson, Stewart Observatory. And every Friday, I think it was every Friday, I don't remember exactly, um, was the NOAO Stewart Observatory Joint Colloquia, where usually it was a guest, an out of town guest, who was observing at one of the local observatories. I'm, well, not anymore, but I mean, within in my vicinity, there is Kit Peak, there is Mount Lemon, Mount Bigelow, there's Mount Hopkins, and there's Mount Graham. So I'm near all of those, and of course, Tucson is sort of centrally located around those major observatories. Um, anyway, so guests would come, and I think part of the deal, maybe they got a discount at the telescope, or something, some kind of deal maybe, uh, was, why don't you give a colloquium, talk about one of your papers, or what you're doing now, or whatever, and yeah, we won't, you know, we'll knock a little bit off your bill. I don't know if that happened or not. I'm just making that up. Um, so as a student, as an astronomy student, an undergrad who was just getting into the heavy stuff, right? Knew all the basic stuff, knew how to observe, and knew what all this stuff was, and just wanting to know more and more and more, right? You go to the colloquia, and you know they're just, again, they're talking just way over the head, way over the head. But you sit there and you listen, and as as I keep saying, and I'll say it over and over and over again, just look at the pictures, and try to understand what they're saying, and you won't, but again, it's an interesting insight into what astronomers are doing, sort of leading edge, what's happening right now, kind of stuff, and it was really really awesome. Well, thanks to technology and things like the internet, you can now watch these recorded, and you don't actually get to see the person speaking, but you get to see all their slides. So they sort of had to make a choice, I guess, either show the slides or show the person, and they opted to show the slides with the person speaking behind them. So I'm going to share my screen. Share my screen and share. And we're going to go to infinity and beyond. And I'm going to go over here. And this is, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to walk through this. I will put a link to the final place down in the description. But the astronomy department is as.arizona.edu. And from here, whoops, it might be www.as.arizona.edu. Yeah. So if you go up to the top here where it says colloquia, click on that. And then if you go over to scientific talks, and here's the Steward Observatory National Optical Astronomy Observatory's Joint Colloquium Past Podcasts. Click on that. And here is the latest one that just happened on January 25th. So, they're a week or so behind, a couple weeks behind maybe. But here are all the past ones from last fall. Okay, from last fall, every single week. Is that every single week? Yeah, not too bad. And they sort of give affiliation. So UC Berkeley, Carnegie. There's a steward person. So sometimes they have the locals come in and give talks. But usually if there's a guest, you can see here Cambridge, LSU, UCL, Cambridge, Harvard, Princeton, University of Oslo. That's cool. Get them from all over the world. So each of these is a video that you can watch. So yeah, I totally encourage you to take a look at this as well. This is the high level shit though. So be prepared to be baffled and bewildered. But as I said, for me it gives me a rush, right? I mean, it's really really awesome to be able to hear about pretty much whatever it is. I'm pretty open to lots of topics. So if um, yeah, there aren't very many things that I sort of have to yawn at or anything. I watched the one here called "Mapping the Universe in Search of Nearby Worlds," and that's kind of a deceptive title. It really doesn't uh, do the content justice. He's getting into some really, really, really cool stuff that, believe it or not, anybody, you can do. So I highly encourage you to watch that one because this is stuff that um, uh, if you want to, this is the kind of stuff that you can do, and it's not citizen science. I don't I wouldn't call it that. Um, maybe well yeah maybe it's more citizen science than what is commonly thought of as citizen science. Yeah, I don't know. All this data is available, publicly available. So he doesn't have any kind of monopoly on the data, and the kind of stuff that he is doing is cool shit. He's in the discovery mode. He's trying to find things. He's characterizing stuff. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So take a look at him. He's a young kid too. I think apparently he's in his 20s. So and he's just doing some really hot shit. So yeah. Anyway, take a look at all of these. They're really good. And as I said, they'll blow your mind. Blow your mind. Katie Mack. I recognize Katie Mack. I think I follow her on on Twitter. Huge shout out to Katie Mack. All right, I'm gonna check my. Yeah. Uncle Bill, I just found CFA's colloquia, so I'm gonna check those out too. And yeah, it's high level shit. So you've really you've got to be into it pretty pretty heavy to be able to get really anything out of it. You really you really have to specialize in what the speakers are talking about to really be able to grasp everything. And so that makes it interesting because that means everybody in the room, there's some aspect of what that speaker is talking about that is also going above their heads. So, don't think that you are the only one that, these concepts are flying over your head. No, everybody, everybody has that. Everybody's got that. Yeah, very cool. Very awesome. Well, it's been a good hour. I'm I'm wondering if there's anything else. I'm gonna go get my artwork tomorrow. Got to go pick it up. So that's very cool. As I said, I got an honorable mention, which to me puts me in the top 5%. So that's pretty awesome. I get an A. I will take my gold star, and I've also the so that piece is that. But another piece, um, two people purchased prints of of that piece. The piece is a print, but I had two sales on that. So so far, there's one more day as well. So I'm gonna go tomorrow, and I will pop my ugly mug back on the screen. Probably slouching. Yeah, he's probably slouching. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go in a little bit early to check out all the artwork. That's really the only reason why I would want to go is to check out everybody else, get some inspiration. You know, check out the scene a little bit. Um, I've gotten um, an adequate response to definitely want me to continue this pretty intensely. So yeah, there's a lot that can be done. It's really um, uh, and almost an infinitely deep well because it's just my medium is data, right? And so there's a lot of data, scientific and otherwise, astronomical and otherwise. So there's a lot of raw material to work with, much more, um, and it doesn't, my stuff doesn't end uh, with visual. I can do audio, and I do audio. I can also do three-dimensional. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there. And as I said, I'm really pleased with the response that I've gotten from this art show. Um, didn't really have any real expectations because most of the time, at least in my experience, the stuff that I like um, uh, isn't what most others like, and vice versa. So, what most others like, I'm confused as to why they would like that at all. So, so yeah, it's nice to see that those two things have merged a little bit. In that, what I like does seem to be resonating with others, in as much as way they want to uh, have it and be able to look at it and add to their collections. So that's very cool. It's very cool. Um, I I definitely understand the enormity of that. So that's pretty awesome, pretty intense. Uh, but yeah, that really inspires me to keep going, keep going. So okay, I think for now I'm going to exit these waters. I do have full respect for those who come in live and those who are going to watch this in the future, and I respect your time, and I'm glad that we can come together every single day, and just have fun, casual talk about things that are astronomical topics, anything, anything. I am game. I am game. And going off on tangents, maybe that's going to happen from time to time too. No problem. I'll try to, you know, keep us pulled in, or somebody will. Somebody will. All right. Well, for now, I'm going to exit these waters, get back up, you know, to the ship, and yeah, I think that's it for now. Have a great day tomorrow. And yeah, it's Sunday, so that's Hearts of Music from the Hearts of Space is free all day tomorrow. They're doing some kind of a guitar show, so those guitar shows are usually pretty interesting. So yeah, they've been doing pretty good with the shows lately. Past couple of ones have been good. Guitar one is probably going to be pretty good. So yeah, if you're into space music, ambient, um, little psychedelic, woo woo, but extremely interesting uh, audio spaces. Um, Music from the Hearts of Space is definitely where you should go tomorrow. It's free all day long. Um, so yeah, I usually record it so I can listen to it and have it. If there's anything particularly nice, then I have it and I can listen to it whenever I want, and learn to play it if I want to. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for stopping in, Uncle Bill. Hang in there. I'm glad everything is going well for you. Everything's great here. Yeah, weather's great. It's been an unusually mild winter. So, and we're almost out of it. Got another month or so, month and a half of possible roughness, relatively speaking. um, but yeah, it's it's been nice. Uh, Slack or tweet a link for you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know if I'm following you there, Uncle Bill. Slack or tweet a link for you. I'm not quite sure what that means. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is throw up a link uh, on on either Slack or tweet it out. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I usually retweet theirs, and I think I might have done that. I think I might have done that. Maybe I did it yesterday. I'm uh, I'm going. I'm gonna go see. Well, I'm not gonna go see. I'm gonna let you go, Uncle Bill. And yeah, I think for tonight we can be good. It's hos.com, hos.com, hearts of space.com, and yeah, it's got some awesome stuff on there. Yeah, so check it out. And all right, out for now. Have a good day tomorrow. Good night tonight, and I will see you in little less than 23 hours. All right. Peace out, everybody.